Hello, hello, hello. Okay, we had a request. I wanted to do some drum set stuff, and we will towards the end of the lesson. Um, when I left last night, we had a choice, drum set or drum pad. And I think I'm going to work on the drum pad first and go over that crazy army, how to feel the 7-stroke roll as opposed to the 5-stroke roll. Some exercises to develop that. Now again, when I count triplets, I'm counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and occasionally I'll count triplets as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. However, some people count triplets as 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet, and that is total of that I just demonstrated is a 16th note triplet. Okay, the 8th note triplet counting in that formation, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, will work with this situation to develop the 7. All the time with this seat. I'm going to go buy some new seats. Okay, so when I play 16th note triplets, counting them as triplets, like 1 triplet and triplet. Now, the first thing you want to do with this is for the crazy army, the 7-stroke roll. So if I did flams, if I counted flams like this, 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, we'll start there and it'll work there. Okay, so let's do it really slow. We're going to go 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, 1. Now you hear this, you see the 7-stroke roll in there, guys? Randy, Robert. Where did you guys go? Ha. I guess I have to do that again. Did you gentlemen got booted, I guess? Okay, I'll wait for the chat to populate before I start the lesson. So what I'm going to do, okay, Randy, it's not saying you're here. Robert, you understand that? If I eliminate the flam and just play 8th notes, see, when I count quarter notes, there's a couple different ways to count quarter notes. It's either 1, 2, 3, 4. That's quarter note counting in 4/4 time. If I do 8th note counting and play quarter notes, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If I played a triplet, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'm just playing quarter notes, but I'm changing the count. Or if I went 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, and I say, okay, let's do 16th note triplets. So I'd be 1 and triplet, maybe 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, 3 triplet and triplet, 4 triplet and triplet. So I play quarter notes, okay, but I changed the count. So what I want to do next is play a measure of flams in say 2/4 time, okay? And that's the 2/4 would be 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. But I'm going to count triplets in there. Okay, I'm going to count 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet. So now I'm going to add flams to that, but on the last triplet and triplet, we're going to double the stroke. So we have 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, 1 triplet and triplet. Do you understand where that's coming from? How you doing, Jim? You're late as usual. Time out chair, Jim. Did you guys understand that? You guys can see my hands, okay? We're working on the introduction to Crazy Army. I'm showing you how to get the 16th note triplet, how to get the 7 as opposed to 5. Normally, it would be 2 and 1. There's the 5. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. We want a triplet. We want a 7 in there. You understand it, Robert. Randy, you understand it. And Jim, do you understand it? Flams for everything. 1 triplet and triplet. 2 triplet and I'm sorry. I should have stayed down on that. 1 triplet and triplet. 2 triplet and triplet 1. Now, if you keep doing that over and over and over again, like 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, and you get the 7-stroke roll. Okay, so what you need to do is take your time with it, do it 1,000,000 times. If you have to do it 2,000,000 times, you'll do it. The feel will come. 1 E and 2 E and, so I'm going to go 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet 1. But notice on the last triplet it was and the 2 triplet and triplet 1. So when I count the triplet, it's triplet, it's and triplet 1. You get that? You get that, Jim? Robert? So if you keep doing that over and over and over again, it will come. It's not easy to teach the 7. It's more or less felt. See, when you do when you read down a chart like Crazy Army, you're not considered a beginner. And I never showed you how to enter or develop the 7 as a feel, as opposed to what mathematically is there. Mathematically, what's there is a 5-stroke roll. So we're changing the 5 to a 7, but it's written as a 5. So you want to change it to a 7. So you have 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet 1. Or you can keep going over this. 1 triplet and triplet, 1 triplet and triplet, 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet 1. Now, the correct way to, well, I got to stay away from incorrect and correct because there's multiple ways of doing things. When you're playing the 7, or when you teach a 7, it's like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. That's 7. It's in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and it comes on the left. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay? So, hey Paul, you're late as usual. This was your request on the drum pad. We're doing the Crazy Army, and I'm trying to give you an exercise to develop a feel, to get the feel of a 7 inside of what's written as a 5. So what's a good exercise would be 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet 1. Do you understand that, Paul? Okay. Jimmy understands it, Robert understands it, and Randy understands it. Now, how about Paul? Ba-deep, da, dang, da, ba-doom. I wanted to do some linear stuff after the drum pad thing. Now, you guys, when you know, there's a variety of ways to warm up. I recommend doing a full stroke. We all understand the 7, okay? So I can go on. Paul understands it. Horst, do you understand the 7 now? 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, and triplet 1. That'll get you into feeling it. Instead of 1 and 2 and 1, that's a 5. So you're going to have 1 and 2 and 1. There's your 7. So I need one more guide here. Horse, do you understand it or do you want me to go over it again? Come on. I'll tell you, YouTube is a little screwy today. They're not right. Jimmy understands it. Hoist, do you understand what I just did? How an exercise, you just keep doing it over and over and over again, and the feel will come. So I need a response from Horst. Manti, Mr. Manti, do you understand it? Hello, Mr. Manti. Jimmy understands it, Paulie understands it, and Paul understands it. So you just keep doing it over and over again, and do it with flams. 1 triplet and, you son of a gun. 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, 1. I will. And it's not just for you. It sure does after a while. All right, we talked about the introduction to Crazy Army. And again, the way it's written and the way it's played are two different things. I don't know, that's the way they used to write back then. So you have, it's written as a 5-stroke roll, but above the roll it says 7. So how do you get 7 in there? So I'm explaining to you, and I explained about the triplet again. Triplet is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and when I count, that's 8th note triplets. When I count 16th note triplets is 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet. Now we're going to use that as an exercise. Just keep doing it over and over again. You will get the feel. It's best to use the metronome. 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and, I should have been, let me do it really slow, okay? You have 1 triplet and triplet. 2 is down, triplet and triplet, 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, 1. A little slower, because on the end of the 2, the triplet is double. When you say triplet, and triplet is double. And triplet, 1 triplet, and triplet, 2 triplet, and triplet, 1 triplet, and triplet. Now it's very, very important to get the levels in there. It's just a natural way to play. Do you understand that, Hoist, Mr. Manti? 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, 1. Or you could just do a run of 7s. 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, 1 triplet and triplet, 1. Whatever works best for you. I would highly recommend doing the flams first, because that's what the introduction is going to be on Crazy Army. So I need a response from you, Mr. Manti. If that helps you, or should I I have to reload this computer. I don't know if we're going to go offline or not. If we do, come back. I'm going to reload now. There you go. That's better. Now you can see and hear me okay. You can see my hands. That's what's important. Now I said to you we're going to start with the drum pad today. I wanted to take that issue with a 7 as opposed to a 5. Now you maybe want to do, if you have the sheet, Crazy Army, it helps. That's not good enough for me. Do you understand it? You just need to do it slow, Mr. Manti. 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, 1. Now, I don't really like to count it that way, but if it's going to help feel the 7 as opposed to 5, go with it. Okay? Now let's take another measure. You should have Crazy Army. Okay? Now, that was explaining to you the 7s. So let's do another measure of your choice. Any other questions about any of the other measures? And what is that? Chia. Okay. All right. No oversleeping. Stacy, you go to the timeout chair. But that's okay. I was reviewing the difference as in Crazy Army, the 5, it's written as, it mathematically as a 5, correct. But on top of the roll, it has a 7. So I was trying to tell everybody how to develop the feel. And that's difficult. How do you teach somebody to feel it? You have to feel it. And it comes by you being practicing consistently over and over the figure. Remember, it was 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet. That should have been down. Son of a gun. It's hard for me to think about it that way. Okay, we all understand that? And for your benefit, Stacy, I'll go over it again if you don't understand it. Paul, chill out. Jiggling the sticks. And I need a response from you, Stacy. Do you understand what I'm doing? If you don't, I'll go over it a couple more times. And then, please, guys, look. Roberto, how you doing? Brand new here, huh? Okay. Roberto, tell us a little bit about yourself. Por favor. Stacy, you understand it, or do you need for me to go over it a little bit more? If not, we're going to go jump to a linear, start developing a linear time. You understand it, Hoist? Mr. Manti, that's better. Stacy, do you understand it? No, I'm not going to ignore anybody. I don't leave anybody behind. You know, you guys are here. Let's get it right. First off, Stacy, do you understand what a triplet roll is? In the exercises in the stick control book formulas, there's a whole section on triplet rolls. Now, it's a different counting system that I use for triplet rolls. So it's going to be 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. Now, if it's better for you to count 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, that's fine. If that's the only way you know how to count triplets, try to do the other counting methods. Actually, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and is better. So, it's doubles in the triplet rhythm. I'm going to do a triplet roll. Eighth note triplets I count. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now that's just eighth note triplets. Now I say triplet roll, I'm going to maintain the same count. As I'm playing that and I'm counting it that way, I'm going to double the stroke. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and understand it? No, Jim is just, Jim's not my agent. Jim's he's a nice guy. I like Jim a lot, even though he's from the Boston area. Just joking. Do you understand that, Stacy? I'm doubles in triplet rhythm, right? See, now you can't see, there's a misinterpretation here. I could play, that's called a triplet roll. When I double the count, 1 and 2, 3, 4. But if I'm going to play triplets, but I'm going to use double sticking, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's different. So Stacy, you understand. Okay. Now, any more questions on Crazy Army? Because we're going to continue on. We're going to start going from line to line. Not today. I want to do some linear things or some things from the stick control book formulas. Any questions and anything you want to go over? Solo number 2 from the Charlie Wilcoxon book. Solo number 3, or 13 rather. Anything. Okay, enough for the drum pad. To the drum set we go. So, ouch. Come on. This thing is like a lead, man. Mercy. What do we have here? All right, let's go do some linear concepts. Now, there's a couple different methods of practicing linear time. Now, linear is a straight line of rhythm where no two voices. Solo number 2. Paul, what do you want to do in solo number 2, Paul? All right, let's do solo number 2, then we'll do linear. All right. We all have solo number 2, gentlemen and ladies. Solo number 2. Again, a pickup note. Now, I want to play this in the half stroke position. This is the half, the full, the half, and the quarter. And there's an array of dynamics you could accomplish from that level system. Okay, so now, solo number 2. I'm going to play the first line. It's simple. The pickup note, 1, 2, and the 1, and the 2E, and the 1, and the 2, and the 1, and the 2E, and the 1E, and the 2. I just played the first 2 lines. Okay? So, you want me to break it down slowly? Do we all understand the first 2 lines? Now I'm going to do it like if this was my first time ever doing it. And there's a pickup note. That means you're going to start before the downbeat. Okay, so now I'm going to do a 16th note counting for this. I'm going to count 1 E and a, 2 E and a. Now, when I'm going to give myself 2 beats to come in, but I'm going to hit the pickup note. 1 E and 2 E and 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 1 E and 2 E, the 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 and. I stopped at the first measure of line 3. All right. Any particular measure you'd like for me to go over so far? Talk to me, gentlemen and ladies. I have to get used to that, ladies and gentlemen, or drummers, or guys. Stacy, out of respect, would it be okay if I say, instead of ladies and gentlemen, you guys? Would that insult you? Come on, guys, give me a question here so I can go on. I'm trying to give you a longer lesson and accomplish as much as I can possibly accomplish. Line 16. On solo number 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 lines. I'd play line 16. You're on the same solo as I am. You have the sheet that I sent. Solo number 2. This sheet. There's no 16th. Okay? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you want to rephrase that, Robert? Bar 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's the first ending. Ay-gada-binga-da-banga. That's the first ending. Okay, we'll do that. All right, that's the first ending. You see the brackets over the first ending, you have a repeat sign, means you go back to the beginning. But it's the last measure that's giving you a problem. So I have 30-second notes tied over to 2. And I'm going to start with the right. That would be 1 E and 2. Simple, it's a 9-stroke roll. 1 E and 2. 1 E and 2. Now the next one is a drag, is a duple. And So I sort of just drop the left stick and So I have 1 E and 1 E and 2 E and What do we have here? Yeah, I know, but what can I do? Yes, it's a 9-stroke roll. If you want to leave first the duple out, that's the, leave the duple out. Let's leave that out and just play the figure. 1 E and 2, and 1 E and 2, and 1 E and 2. And you want to get that duple in there, so you have 1 E and 2, and All right. Any other questions on the solos? Because we'll go back to it Monday, drum pad morning or afternoon. Right now, because Stacy's new, did you get the PDF, Stacy? Did you print them out? You'll be getting the book in a few days, not a problem. Oh, come on. Again with this pad. Ouch. We understand it. Now, Stacy, you got the PDFs. There's 180 pages. Hopefully you printed them out. All right, big delay. All right, you saved them. What you should do, you don't need to because you're going to get the book, but I just figured I send them to you so we could work on a formula. Did you look at them at all? If there's a particular formula you want to go over, or we'll just do linear concepts. Nobody's flirting. Calm down, Randy. Stacy's a musician, just like all of us. Okay. Girl drummers, men drummers, we're drummers. I don't label it girl drummer, man drummer. Yeah, my language might come down a little bit because, out of respect, because she's a woman. TD20 drums with TD30 brain. I don't understand that. You did look at them. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you look at them some more, pick out a formula that you want, and we'll do it tonight, okay? In the meantime, let's have a little fun with some linear concepts. Now, the way I like to do linear concepts, first off, the linear concept is one voice at a time. And it's a straight line of rhythm. I could do 4 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I just did there was I played a linear line of quarter notes. If I go like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a broken line of rhythm. Okay, so you know the difference now between a linear line and a broken line. Now, what I like to do occasionally is have a whole lot of fun, and I use the stick control book, but we're not going to do that. We're going to talk about my approach compared to other approaches. Now, I guess whatever works for somebody works, because at the end of the day, you're going to get the thing down, however you approach it. But I think if somebody's playing snare, kick, snare, snare, kick, kick, snare, to me that's disrespectful. It's not musician life, it's unprofessional. Snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, kick. I'd rather go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or phrase the linear concept as 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just another way of counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and Now when somebody says kick, snare, snare, kick, to me that's disrespectful, man. That's like saying this is a paint set, paint by the numbers. Do we understand the concept here? I like to go into Gary Chaffee's concept. Now, when I count eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that's a straight line of eighth notes. However, I could change the count. As instead of 1 and, I can go 8 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That was the same thing as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 eighth notes, or counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now, the combinations, 2, 3, and 3. 2, 3, 3. Two of them. Grouping of 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, I just kept it simple, but that's a measure, okay, of it's a linear line of eighth notes. So instead of counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, I'm counting 1, 2, I'm counting 1, 2, what I count that? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You see how that works, guys? Now I could play it in all the voices that I want. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You see? Watch. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. That's eight counts. Do we understand that? Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to show you is the different approaches. I like to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I like to do that myself. But there's a reason for going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. It's a lot of fun doing it that way. It's just a different approach. We're not counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you take the eighth note, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, that's 8 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we could do any kind of combination. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. I got eight notes in there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. Do we understand what I'm doing? I'm just giving you a different approach. I like to count 1 E and 1 E and 2 E and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All kinds of fun, all different kinds of combinations. Whatever is working for you. Okay? Another way to do that, and I don't agree with this whatsoever, I think it's very disrespectful. Snare, snare, kick, snare, snare, kick, fourth on boom. Usually it's onto the snare. Snare, snare, kick, snare, snare, kick, snare, kick. But hey, some people it works for. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. And in my opinion, I think it's very disrespectful and take it away from musicianship, in my opinion. But hey, everybody has an opinion, right? All right, I'd like to expand on the Gary Chafee book. I will send for Monday some PDFs showing his concept. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. It's 8 notes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Grouping of 3, grouping of 3, grouping of 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So we'll work out of some of them. I'll send you the sheet on it, okay? If you don't have it. But Stacy, pick out, look at the PDFs and pick out a formula that you want. And for Paul, we're going to go through the modulation stuff for everybody. But because they requested it, that's why I'm mentioning their name. Okay, so. Okay. We'll see everybody tonight, 7 p.m., unless there's some questions. You're welcome, Paul. Just email me, tell me what you want to go on. You know, you're having a problem, and we'll talk about it, all right? Jim, Stacy, Randy, Paul, Robert, Mr. Manty, and there was a new guy in here before. I forgot who that was. Let's see who we got. Roberto. I guess Roberto didn't like the lesson. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. No questions? What's this, Randy, Mr. Patella? Okay. I guess I'm an old fart. Okay. No questions. No problems. I could stop